All right, and welcome back to another episode of Emma Explores Everything. This week I have the lovely TeeTee Pawg with me. Hi, TeeTee.
Hi, Emma. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. I love to have you on. It was so great to meet you in Miami, like what, 2 weeks ago?
Absolutely.
So much
Yes,
fun. How was
I
your
know.
travel back home from that?
It wasn't too bad. I live only about an hour and 20 minutes north, so
Oh, so you had an easy time.
yeah.
Okay, girl. You did not. I had to fly home, so it's a lot more
Where
crazy
where are
for
you
me.
based out of?
I'm a New Yorker, so.
Oh, okay. I was just in Jersey this weekend.
Oh, you were? I'm
Yeah.
going to Jersey this weekend. That's so
Right.
funny.
I'll be back. I drive back up there on like the 15th, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay,
And
we'll
but I'm
have to
not
keep
staying.
in touch.
Say again?
We'll have to keep in touch.
Absolutely. I go up there a lot in the spring and the fall. I deliver cars for snowbirds.
Oh,
So,
okay.
because I'm originally from Jersey, so it's like a nice way for me to still get up there, visit my family and friends, and get paid to do
Right.
it. So,
Oh my gosh, you kind of do have that like Jersey, like Italian like looking heritage. I don't know if you're Italian, but you give me
um,
that vibe. It's just the Jersey in you, I guess.
yeah, everybody thinks so. Everybody thinks so.
Oh my
But
God, that's hilarious.
yeah,
So this podcast is kind of I don't want to say weird, it's like unique in the podcast that I've been on where every week we like talk about something that starts with a different letter.
okay.
So your week is Q, which at first I was like, this is going to be really hard to figure out what we can do for Q. But then I was like, okay, TT is like a queen. She's very like poised and you have this like quiet confidence about you that I really appreciate. Um, so I thought we'll have TT come on and she'll just be our queen of the episode and we can just learn all about you.
Awesome. I love it.
So, how long have you been in like the adult industry?
So I started filming. It's almost been exactly 2 years now.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that's when I started on OnlyFans, but I still hadn't really done much with it. And I was still more just a swinger and working full time. And I was throwing swinger parties and doing that for extra income. But then I had started on OnlyFans and then I had done some stuff like a little bit on, just to fly with the camera. And then
Right.
September, or no, actually August was my first time I did like a production scene, you know.
So, did you get into it through swingers parties?
Kind of, what happened was my friend Steve was dating this girl who had an OnlyFans account, and she did really, really well. And she like came and hung out with us at Secrets one weekend, and she's like, "You gotta start when your butt is huge." And and I was like, "Man, like you're 20, what?" I'm like 40, like come on. So like, I went back and forth, and I created it, but like I said, I didn't really do much with it. And then I had met Savannah Starr and Savvy G at that same resort, like the next weekend or something. Like it was like one of the next holidays or something. Um, and I actually did a little video with Savvy, and then Savannah is the one who introduced me to bringing me into like my first shoot house and like teaching me more about like the business side of it. So
That's such a great way to get into it, like having people guiding you. You didn't just like jump in by yourself. That's awesome.
yeah.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about this like swinger resort or whatever? I have no idea about swingers at all. Like it's so foreign to me.
So, well, there's actually, believe it or not, there's a club in New York by you. There's a club called Caligula. Just
Of course,
saying.
yeah. And I've
If
heard of
everyone to check it
Caligula,
out.
but
But
like what are I'm assuming people just go there and like it's kind of like a party atmosphere and you hook up and everything. But are you like into swinging and how did you get into that?
yeah, I've been a swinger for like 10 years. So
Ah,
yeah, so I had started when I was in a relationship back in Jersey when I lived
uh-huh.
there, and we had started doing like going to like meet and greets and stuff, and doing like the whole online thing through like SLS, which is like a way to connect other swingers together, and like it's like a dating profile for swingers, pretty much.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's up north, and then one that they have down here that is good in Florida is called SCC. So, in different parts of the world, in different parts of the country, they have different ones and out west it's more Cassidy. That's their online platform out there.
Okay.
Um,
Cassidy. I know Cassidy.
yeah.
They do Exotica.
Yep, yep, absolutely. And if you go, like, so all of them are tied in. I think it just really depends on what area you're in and stuff like that. You know, but back up in Jersey, SLS was, big up there. So we had gone to like a few meet and greets, and then we had gone to like some like little parties and stuff. That was just like a few couples here and there. And I was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. Um, I had no clue. So,
Yeah,
no clue, right? So then but it was great. Like, and we enjoyed what we did. And, it was like, every once in a while, it was just, a way for us to go out and have fun together and, just experiment and stuff. And, eventually that relationship had ended and I ended up moving to Florida. And then when I moved to Florida, um, I didn't even know like what sex clubs were. I had no clue, right? I had no
right,
clue that these clubs existed. These were all this stuff. Like, so South Florida is like the mecca of like everything swinger. Like it's crazy. So yeah,
really,
it's insane down here. So I didn't even really know. And like I said, my experience had been like so um like just like very light. You know what I mean? I wasn't like well versed. I didn't really know like the lingo. I didn't really know a lot
right,
about the community. I just knew that we went and we met with the couples here and there. It was very like whatever, very isolated experiences, not like a
right.
community thing. But down here in South Florida, man, it's a community. Like it is a community. There is no joke. So I had actually been driving Uber when I first moved down here at night. Right, I was doing real estate during the day and driving Uber at night.
Oh,
And I picked up this couple, and they were going to Trapeze, which is one of the largest sex clubs, and
right.
multiple lines, in the whole country, pretty much. Um, so they were like trying to get me go in with them, and I was like, no, 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 like what I mean? I was
From
all
Uber?
so, yeah. So anyway, I just dropped them off, but then of course, like my curiosity was piqued, like, and I wanted to go check it out, like I wanted to see what it was about. So I went back and I
Yeah,
went on a night that I was free, and I went and just like checked it out. And it's like a whole club, they have like the bars. You can't buy, you have to bring your own bottle, but they have
yeah,
bartenders with mixers and stuff, so they still make your drinks, and they have a DJ.
okay,
And they have like a whole buffet, whatever. It's a club, you know what I mean? It's a club,
right.
and then they have a double set of doors that lead to the back, and then it's a whole nother type of club, you know what I mean? Um, so I wasn't brave enough at that point yet because, like, I don't
Yeah,
know, like I was by myself. I didn't know anybody here.
mhm,
Um, and then, like, I just started to meet people in the community. Like, I don't know, back when Kick was like a big thing, I had like been in like one of like the local groups that I had met other people who were swingers, and then they told me
right.
SBC. Then they're the ones who, oh, come to this party, come do this, and got me more involved with like the social aspect of the community. And that's kind of how it started out for me in Florida. And then I was a single unicorn for 6 years. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god, people are always looking for you.
Yeah. And I am again now, I guess technically, because now, whatever. So it's different. But I had to take a step back, because it's hard
Mhm.
to do both porn and swing, right?
I can imagine because
The
I
testing.
don't know, like, I'm assuming you guys, like, use protection and everything,
Yeah,
you
but
take
it still doesn't matter. I mean, one kiss and you're done. Your test just, is scratched. So,
yeah, so you're, like, throwing away
yeah,
$300 now almost, so I can imagine it's a lot,
yeah,
and if you're, like, having sex for work and having sex for pleasure, and it's a lot of sex.
yeah,
It's a lot of sex, so
true.
I could see that being a lot.
Yeah. So, so now for me right now, like, I'm on the outskirts. I still obviously have my friends, like, you know what I mean, who I stay in contact with, but I haven't been to like a party like that in a minute. So, we have to plan like the parties around downtime to make sure that we have enough time after and, that we have
Yeah.
to do and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Hmm. Next time I come to Florida, I'm gonna come to a club with you because I want to know what it's like behind that door. I want to
Yeah.
go and see what everybody's doing and have some fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, it is a lot of fun. You know what I mean? Like, and we've gone like with large groups of other creators who are all tested and just played together. So we're still like in the atmosphere and still get the
Yeah.
experience and still get to, have that fun, but still get to be safe.
Yes,
You
and that
know?
is
So
so important.
yeah.
But you know what I find in like these communities? I feel like the people that are freaky are the cleanest, you know? They're it's always us porn people and us kinky people that are the safest and the cleanest.
Yeah.
It's the regulars out there who don't get tested.
Yeah. It's true. It's
Yeah.
true. Absolutely. You know? And it's crazy. Like, I mean, I finally just opened up like my Twitter messages so that people can message me without being my friend for the first time.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I
you're
don't know
gonna
if I'm
get
up
the
for.
crazy.
I might be regretting that decision, but I'll see. So, but the amount of people who reach out and they want to film, but they'll argue with you till they're blue in the face, like about testing. Like, no,
That is insane to me.
So
Those are not people that are like professional at all. They don't take it seriously.
yeah.
If you're willing to risk your whole career getting like HIV or something like that, like
Hmm.
you're not taking it seriously. It's just fun. They just want to fuck.
Yeah.
They just want to
Yeah.
fuck. No way.
Yeah. So, you got to weed out that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, so but it's been
So
really fun. So I started. I had met these two guys, and they were friends, and I became really good friends with the both of them. And the three of us together started a group called Members Only, and we started throwing some of the largest parties in South Florida in the middle of COVID, before vaccines were even out.
right.
Like, so our first
Oh my
house party was like, we ended up having to go from a 3 bedroom house to a 7 bedroom house, like after all the people had prepaid. And then there was 102 people showed up in the middle of the pandemic before vaccines. Like, people were ready. Like, you couldn't go out
they
yet. There
wanted
was,
to get fucked.
yeah.
And I honestly I can see that. Like you're inside, you haven't touched another human being. You're ready for it. That's
Mhm.
hilarious.
It was
Oh
wild.
my
There was like broken beds. Like, I mean, it was a wild, wild fucking night. But we had a good time.
honestly, it sounds like a much needed relief for people during COVID. So good for you. That's awesome that you did something so big and successful. Wow.
Yeah, no, it's fun, and that's how we started. And then eventually, after throwing the house parties for a long time, it got so expensive because, after Airbnb was like down and out, and they couldn't do those rentals for a long time.
Right.
All the pricing went up like so crazy high. So, it was hard to find places to throw house parties, and then we started partnering up with a club called Defy, and started hosting parties once a month at the Club Defy. So
Oh, that's nice.
yeah,
Once a month is good, I think.
it was a lot
You're right though.
easier.
Airbnb is even now so expensive. Like even as creators, we can't really afford to rent an Airbnb anymore because they've gone up so
Yeah.
much. So I didn't even think about how that would affect you, like swingers and swinging parties. You know, like, did you guys ever have to worry about cameras in the Airbnbs? Did you check for that?
Yes, I mean, I was fortunate that I know a few people who have properties and stuff, and even though like we have done it through Airbnb, sometimes they knew what was going on, or
Right.
I've paid extra fees in advance telling them, hey, listen, I'm having a gathering, blah blah blah. We're respectful. It helps that I have my real estate license and that I've also been a host on Airbnb for multiple properties when I used to do property management. So,
Mm.
you know what I mean? I kind of like put that out there and, in the forefront, explain what I want to do. I don't necessarily tell them I'm shooting porn there. I don't tell them I'm doing this
Right.
there, or whatever, or having a swing party, but, I'll give a variation of the situation so that they know that there will be cars, and I ask about parking, and
That's smart.
yeah, because I don't want the
You
cops
know,
coming.
not in the middle, not when everybody's butt naked. No thanks.
Mm-mm. That happened to us one time when we did a house for Exotica, and we were like mid orgy scene in the living room, and I had like literally squirted. Somebody had me bent over the couch, and I squirted like this huge puddle, right? And then the owner came because there was too many cars there. He's pounding on the door, so everybody like started scrambling and running. Everybody's slipping out a huge pile of squirt. It was fucking hilarious, dude. We were dying.
That's like a cartoon. That is literally crazy. Did you guys get in like trouble? Did you have to pay?
No, he was cool about it. They just went out and handled it, and we moved the cars and stuff, and we apologized, and but it's
That's like my worst nightmare.
yeah, no, and thankfully, there are a lot of people in authority. Let's say this without putting anybody out there, right? Who always have our backs, like when we throw events and stuff like that. That kind of
Yeah.
depending on the area that we're in, have a little more control over keeping a hush hush on things. So yeah.
Right. And that's good to have. That's good because you don't want the wrong thing getting out there.
Mm-mm.
Because once something gets out on social media or on the news, oh, it's like turns into this whole other thing that it never
Yes,
was. So,
absolutely. Yeah,
so you said you have your real estate license.
I do.
It sounds like you've done like a lot of different. jobs. Do you find like that it has helped you in this like adult world having done so many
Yeah,
things?
I definitely do. I mean, like I've always been primarily corporate America, operations
Yeah.
based, supply chain. Like I've been a buyer for most of my life, up until about like 5 weeks ago. So, but you know, I look at it like I've always done something extra. Like I've never just had one job. It's not in
Right.
not my nature, not my DNA to be like that. So when I moved to Florida, like I was trying to think of something that would give me a little bit more flexibility. I didn't want to really sit in an office like I had been, and so I had tried that, but I hated it. So I keep it because it's important to have, and I could still do. I could be like a referral agent, and I could still get a percentage off of using somebody like as a
Right.
referral and a sale going through. So it still makes sense for me to have it. And it's a good thing to have. You know what I mean? Just, it represents you as a person. Like they don't just approve anybody. Like I had to go through like background, they do like an FBI background check. They do like a whole bunch of stuff. I had to like write like a whole bunch of like letters explaining some stuff. Like they take it serious. So I feel like it just shows like the type of person that you are, I guess. You know what I mean? They're
Right.
not just gonna like let anybody, have that kind of responsibility where they're in people's homes like that. So I feel like it's a good thing to have. And honestly, like even when I did the property management, like when I was managing the Airbnbs, I had more fun doing that than I had fun doing the real estate. Like,
Yeah.
like I'd rather honestly be cleaning the house and like setting up the reservations and replying to guests and dealing with all of that than I would even be trying to sell you a house because people are difficult.
Yes.
And when
Public, like, working with the public is very interesting.
And I was like, I'm good at it to a degree. So like, I've never, I've always been operations, so I've never really had like too much like interaction. Like so
Right.
I interact with like a lot of different departments, but I was never really heavy in like customer service, like having to deal with like the face on problems. Except for
Yeah.
I was with a company for 10 years in Jersey, and I used to manage the operations department. But when I had started there, it was a startup company. So as it grew, I had taken on the role of account management. So was responsible for like MX, Ameriprise, Westfield malls. Like
Yeah.
I had a lot of huge accounts. And technically I was like a glorified customer service rep for them, like who helped them get what they needed, in addition to
Yeah.
my operational role. But I did a whole bunch of stuff like back in Jersey. I used to do. I was president of an alumni association, so did a lot of fundraising. So I feel like that helped me prepare for like all of the events that I do and stuff like that, and then throwing the parties down here and how I got involved with that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so
And you kind of get ideas from that, right? Like of what you could do to get raise money for
yeah.
yourself, you know?
Well, and not even just
Super.
that, but just like how to throw an event, like what the appropriate things that you need are. You know what I'm saying? Because
It's not easy.
it's not. But I
People are
love
like, "Oh,
it.
you just show up, bring some tables, you're
No,
good." Absolutely
no,
not.
no.
No.
And I'm like crazy. I like everything to be like a certain type of way. You know what I mean? So like when I have a vision,
This is why I say you're a queen because you have so much experience and you're so professional and so smart. Like you just get it, you know?
appreciate that. Thank you.
Man, so there's so many people who have used OnlyFans and actually, first I want to ask you, is OnlyFans basically your main thing? Do you do other stuff
I
or
do. So, I mean, like I said, up until 5 weeks ago, I had a full ass job that I was working full time
right.
at. So that's been a change, and I have been still applying for some like remote jobs and stuff like that because I don't know that I want to walk away from that type of security. Even if I'm not going to do
Mhm.
something full time, like as long as it has benefit. Like I figured I'd look for something, you know what I mean? Like even if it's like basic remote, and then that way I could just work around it. But no, not only OnlyFans. So I have a whole bunch of different platforms on ManyVids, Xvideos, OnlyFans. I'm about to create a Fansly, um,
Yeah.
Adult DVD Empire, um, and then I
Oh,
have
yeah.
my production company Splash House, which is mimicked on all those platforms. So it's
Mhm.
times two. So now I'm still trying to learn quite a bit so that I could do all of that on my own, and I'm not quite there yet, but that's what I've been working on the
Right.
past few weeks. is just trying to familiarize myself with the different like software and stuff like that. So
So many people I feel like get into this and they do it to get away from the corporate world, and I had that experience too. I did porn to get out of being a teacher, but so people, a lot of people don't realize how many of us, I guess, are still working in like regular society, I guess,
yeah,
and putting on that like professional front and then coming back and being a little kinky slut at home.
that's part of it. No, absolutely, and I think it's smart. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I've always been taught to try to diversify, right? So regardless of how
Yeah.
it's coming in, I should always try to have multiple streams. Period. Um, yeah.
Can never go wrong that way, literally.
Or like, I mean, I don't know that I want to really go back into corporate America. I really don't want to do it, right? So, I've been looking at different things like being like, a virtual assistant that you could do part times. Like I've had a whole bunch of really
Yeah,
good suggestions from people that would allow me to still work a little bit and like do something else that would still keep my mind like,
fresh,
yeah, you know what I
yes.
mean? And then,
Have that resume.
mhm. I gotta update it. It's all good to go. But yeah,
I work 4 hours a week at my boyfriend's job just to have it on paper in case porn is banned in the United States or God
yeah,
forbid, like something happens. Then I still have a little piece of paper that says I worked here from this year to this year. They don't have to know how many hours I
no,
worked.
absolutely.
They just know that I did
Yeah,
work and I do have these skills.
absolutely.
It it's so
Yeah,
smart.
no, I definitely think it has its benefits, for taxes and stuff like that as well. And
That's true.
I mean, there's a lot of benefits to work for the man, right? You know what I mean? So, but I mean, I've never not done that. So, this is like a whole new world to me that I'm still trying to learn a lot about, on the finance
Mhm.
side, on the business side, on all sides of it. And I want to make sure that if I'm going to decide to stick with it full time and approach it, that I'm doing it the right way. So,
Yes,
yeah,
definitely. I mean, you're never going to stop learning. I'm going in almost 4
right.
years. Still have no idea what I'm doing. Every day I just wake up and hope for the
Uh,
best.
it's true. You never know. And everything
You
shifts
really
with this
don't.
market so fast. So,
It
mhm.
does. I mean, 2 years ago, I could make a TikTok video and then my like one video and my OnlyFans would be popping. Now it's like completely different. You have to be everywhere. So now I'm on YouTube.
Are you?
That's where this is going.
I haven't graduated there yet. I still
Yeah.
struggling. Like, I have a hard time getting in front of the camera, like in that aspect, right? So I have like a bizarre public speaking fear, which is super common, but it
Yeah.
translates to the video. It translates to video for me, like, or to camera. Does that make sense? When I
Mhm.
have to speak to the camera or on camera. So,
I totally, totally understand. If you were here with me in person, I would be a wreck. But the fact that we have the screen between us, it helps. So like you're kind of the opposite
yeah.
of me in that way.
Absolutely.
Like,
And even still, like, even though I'm talking to you, it's like when I have to, like, when I'm the one who has to come up with something to say and I'm like talking to myself, I'm like, oh my God.
I know. It is hard. It's not easy. Like, and any 1 second of a pause feels like 10
Yeah.
years in your brain. You're like, I need to fill this
Yeah.
space.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I feel like after so much time of me, because I do solo
Yeah.
work mostly, I would say 80% of what I do is by myself, just talking to my camera. And I found at first it was really hard. But now, after 200 videos of it, I can just go. I can just talk all day
Right.
long. And mostly it's me being mean to people. So, and that never came naturally to me either. So it's a muscle, like you have to work on it and then you just get there. It's like riding a bike. So you'll get
Yes.
there.
I'm getting better. You know what I mean? Especially like with the
Yes.
TikToks and the reels and stuff like that. But I'm like, does anybody really want to watch what I'm doing? Like 24/7? Like, really?
There's always somebody that's watching everything that you're doing.
True.
And I think you're doing great. I've seen you around for years. So I guess like since you've been doing it, I've been seeing you. So you're great in my book.
I just like popped out the gate real quick. Um,
Yeah, I mean, you having friends in the industry, like, that is something that takes so long to develop. Like, for me, I am just now, like, becoming friends with you and Erica and everybody, so, like, that's a super good gift that you had right out the gate. So, I'm so happy for
Thank you.
you.
See, that's my strength, right? So, like,
Yeah.
that's where people say, so whether it's like from being in recovery and making it easy for people to talk to me, or whether it's,
Mhm.
think about it, whatever it is, but people feel super comfortable with me, you know what I mean? So it's like, I'll meet you and everybody's like, yeah, like verbal throw up. And I'm like, oh,
You have that same energy about you like me, everybody just tells you their deepest secrets on the first
yes.
meeting, it's so
I'm
funny.
like, great. What am I supposed to do with
I
that?
totally get what you
No, but it's awesome. It helps, it just helps people feel comfortable and makes them want to work with you. You know what I mean?
It really does, yeah, they trust you, and that's really, like, the most important thing in any relationship, business, personal, whatever, is that they can
Yeah.
trust you. Oh, I feel like I could talk to you all day, but we are getting to our time, so I wanna make sure that you have time to plug all your socials, so where can we
Okay,
find
so
you?
we'll start with Instagram is TeeTee Pawg, so it's TeeTeePawg 3, so the number
Mhm.
3 at the end of that, and my Twitter is TeeTee Pawg, straight up. And then my
Straight up.
my OnlyFans is the same. So is my mini vids. Pretty much across all platforms is TeeTee Pawg. You can even hit me
Awesome.
for booking at ttpawg@gmail.com, and you can check out my personal website at ttpawg.com. So
Awesome. Everybody check her
um,
out. She has a juicy
you
booty and a
should see
great
it.
personality. And I'm telling you, people, this girl is hot on camera. Yes, ma'am. You know, when you go on a YouTube video and you can see like the bump where everybody keeps
Mhm.
replaying it, that
That's
is
gonna be
going to
the
be the spot
one.
that everyone's going to replay.
Yes, it's sundress season here in Florida. It's sundress season all the time in Florida, but I take full advantage of
Yes, ma'am.
that.
No pants
No.
ever this
Oh
whole
my God,
summer.
I hate
I'm
them.
not
I
doing
hate
it.
them. I really do. You have no idea.
I was just talking to someone the other day. They were like, "You just always wear dresses. You look so nice." And I'm like, "It's just a really great way to not wear pants, and people still think that you are
Yeah,
like
this is
fancy."
what I tell people all the time. I'm like, listen, first of all, it's too freaking hot, right? I live in Florida. I haven't worn jeans like literally since I moved here, right? Okay, that's the first.
No,
And second, it's cheaper. I buy one article of clothing and it's a whole outfit, right? And I don't have to
yeah,
fucking match it with anything. I'm done. Just one thing and I'm
yes. Oh my
done.
god,
So,
you get it.
yes.
You get it.
So I get it. And everybody, because when I first moved here, people were like, talk shit to me all the time because I'm from Jersey, right? So I look like I'm from Jersey, right? I come here, hair, makeup, whatever,
Yeah.
And, dresses. And I'm like, man, it's just how I dress. Like, I always dress just nice,
Yeah. I can't help that I'm
you
flying.
know?
You're trapped.
But it's not because I just want to be fancy. It's just because I want to be comfortable.
Literally, it's the most comfortable. Like this one, I don't even have
Me
to wear a
neither.
bra,
It's so
so
thin. So, I mean, you can't beat
it's a win all around.
it. Oh.
Oh my God, TT, thank you so much for coming on. I can't wait to see you in person
Oh,
again and give you big
absolutely. Me
hugs.
too. Thank you so much for having me. Are you going to come down to Exotica or?
It's too hot. I'll die. It's way too hot. I used to live in Florida, born and raised in Florida, and I just said I will never come back for a Florida
No.
summer.
Are
I
you in the
can't
city?
do it.
Are you in Manhattan?
No, I live near
Okay, we did
Poughkeepsie.
talk about this. Now I remember. Okay.
Yeah, but I just tell people
It's
I'm a
just
New
easier.
Yorker. I'm a new because it's easier. Nobody knows where Poughkeepsie
Oh,
is.
I know. I
You
do.
do.
Oh my
You
God.
know.
I still.
You know. Okay, hang on. Let me end this podcast. And I'll tell you where I'm going to be
Okay.
this weekend. Bye,
Bye. Thank you
everybody.
for having me.